Right now on Hoosier News Source, a controversial decision about standardized testing scores for admission to IU.
And the coronavirus has made its way to the U.S. We have more on what it is and how you can protect yourself.
And I have the mostly mild and quiet forecast, as well as the possibility of a huge warm-up later this week. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Noelle Friel.
And I'm Ella Rhodes. We begin with some changes to the university's admissions policy. The Bloomington Faculty Council approved a new plan that no longer requires undergrads to submit standardized test scores. Although test scores are no longer necessary, students will still need to prove academic achievement. According to the undergraduate admissions policy, preference will be given to those with at least a 3.5 GPA. Prospective Division I athletes and homeschooled students, though, will still be required to submit scores. To learn more about the new admissions policy, you can visit admissions.iu.edu.
This week, IUPD notified students of a reported rape at Union Street Apartments that occurred on January 20th. Back in September 2019, IUPD received a report of a fondling involving the same suspect with a different victim. The victim's identity is known to IUPD. The university and IUPD are actively investigating the reports. In a state struggling with an opioid addiction crisis, the IU Department of Theater, Drama, and Contemporary Dance devised a stage play to tell the stories of those affected by addiction in Indiana. Take a look. IU senior Carolyn Studer has been acting as long as she can remember. This week, she took the stage in Ascendant, a stage play devised by the IU Theater Department that portrays addiction. She played the role of a high schooler in small-town Indiana named Chrissy Rose.
She has this best friend named Zachary, and he's in the play as well, and that's where she sort of finds her home. And so I think going through the journey of the play, that's what's kind of heartbreaking, is their relationship gets jeopardized by drug use and addiction.
Theater professor Jonathan Michelson says that he and playwright Peter Gill Sheridan devised the play to highlight issues surrounding the addiction crisis in Indiana, such as issues with healthcare, law enforcement, and treatment for recovering addicts.
I think people need to be aware of what's going on and how many people are dying and how it impacts families, and then put pressure on politicians to really start supporting programs that help in this.
Carolyn hopes the performance will help the audience feel compassion toward recovering addicts.
Through the process, I realized we're all addicted to something, and we're all affected by people who are addicted to things, so it's really a part of our lives even though we don't realize it.
Professor Michelson says that if there's one thing he wants audiences to take away from the performance, it's that we need to end the stigma around addiction.
We just feel like this is a weakness and that people ought to just be able to get better.
I hope the story opens people's hearts. As simple as that may sound, I would be content if anyone came to see the play and had one moment within the story of relating to something or someone that they wouldn't have before.
To learn more about how IU is combating the addiction crisis in the Hoosier State and what resources are available for those struggling with addiction, visit addictions.iu.edu. A virus outbreak that began in the Chinese city of Wuhan has already killed more than 100 people in China, and now 5 cases have been confirmed in the United States. This virus started in animals but made its way to humans. Infected individuals can exhibit symptoms much like the flu, which an IU School of Public Health researcher says is actually a bigger concern.
We are in the flu season, and the number of cases that have been reported are in the thousands within the United States. We have had several hundreds of deaths from the flu. And right now, we've had only 5 cases of coronavirus in the United States, no person-to-person transmission.
While travel restrictions and the wearing of face masks have been imposed on a number of cities in China, Oma Dior says as long as individuals haven't been to the epicenter of where the disease started, it is very unlikely they could catch the virus. He advises to take precautions against the virus by washing your hands thoroughly and covering your mouth when you cough.
It may seem as though there's already construction all over campus, but now there's about to be even more. Maxwell Hall will undergo renovations beginning this spring. Along with donation from alumna Gail Cook, there will be a Center for the Public Arts and Humanities named after her. Maxwell Hall was constructed in 1890 and sits between the Student Building and Owen Hall. Maxwell houses the Office for Undergraduate Education and previously housed University Division Advising. Renovations are scheduled to end in the fall 2020. This month marks the bicentennial anniversary of IU, and the university is celebrating with some unveiling of some new projects around campus. The Met's Carillon Bell Tower is officially complete, opening the Arboretum for students to walk through once again. Big Red 200, a brand new supercomputer, is now in use by the university and is expected to aid in the research projects around the state. That research includes climate change and cancer. And finally, right here in Franklin Hall, you can find a 3D printed skeleton of Mega Jeff, an ancient giant sloth. Noelle, what did you think they were going to put in the comments?
Well, I did not expect it to be a sloth, but if you are watching this and you'd like to learn a little bit more about Mega Jeff, please check out our episode of What's Up Weekly this week, where we learn a little bit more about where Mega Jeff came from. Coming up, why people are flocking to see a Bloomington man and his bird.
An in-state rival tested the swim and dive teams this weekend, plus a national basketball legend is remembered. That and more coming up, so stay with us. Welcome back. Hoosier News Source's Zoe Mintz is here to give us a preview of this week's weather. Zoe?
Thanks, Ella. We have been seeing slightly above normal temperatures recently in the mid-30s, and that will continue into this week as a weak low pressure system pushes into our area, bringing us the possibility of snow and rain. The timing of this system is slightly unknown. It could hit anywhere from Friday afternoon into Saturday morning, but we are going to be seeing the possibility of light rain and snow all day on Saturday. Nothing should accumulate. It should not be any severe weather, but after this low pressure system pushes past us by Sunday, a high pressure system will take its place, leaving us with beautiful sunny skies and hot temperatures to end the week, leaving us with just a gorgeous end of the week and beginning of February. If we take a look, we can see Friday, the chance of rain does begin Friday afternoon into Friday evening. Even into Saturday morning, there is that chance of rain, but temperatures are going to be nice and mild into the mid to lower 40s, even climbing as we reach into Saturday night. Sunday, it is going to be a beautiful and sunny day. Temperatures reaching the mid to upper 50s, almost peaking at 60 degrees. So I definitely suggest you go outside and enjoy the beautiful beginning of February. The rain chances do go down as we head into the end of the weekend. If we take a look at the whole week as a whole, the extended forecast shows us that with the showers gone on Friday and Saturday, we're going to see the sunshine returning Sunday and Monday. There is the possibility at the beginning of the week, Wednesday, to see a few showers, a few pop-up sprinkles, but we're not going to see anything severe. Mostly a mild week, possibility of snow and rain on Saturday, ending the month and beginning the month of February with gorgeous, sunny, and warm conditions. So if you do have anything to do outdoors or want to absorb some of that beautiful sunshine, I highly suggest you do something outside either Monday or Sunday because you should enjoy the unseasonably warm temperatures. Ella, Noelle, back to you.
Thanks, Zoe. There's a new celebrity in Bloomington with wings. Hoosier News Source's Jack Bassett joins us with more.
The Bloomington area is known for its fair share of celebrity residents, from the likes of Jesse Eisenberg to John Cougar Mellencamp, and even Bobby Knight. But there may be one forgotten star from the region, a celebrity in his 30s who captures the attention everywhere he goes. And his name is Charlie Bird.
Meet an unlikely pair of best friends, Joe Porosky and Charlie Bird.
Hello, can you wave? Hello.
Joe is a 67-year-old part-time carpenter, and Charlie, well, he's a 37-year-old macaw. Despite the difference in age and differences in species, these two have lived together for over 15 years side by side, doing everything together.
Charlie, you want to come? You be nice. Will you step up and be nice?
The two began their friendship after Charlie's original owner of 23 years passed away, leaving Charlie Bird literally sick with grief, pulling and plucking out all of his feathers.
So his whole chest and his wings, as far as he could reach, were bare. And, you know, they're quite a butt ugly looking bird when they don't have any feathers.
With the hopes of improving Charlie's overall health and removing his quote-unquote ugly bird appearance, Joe turned to an unconventional type of care, a care based on socialization by introducing Charlie to the community of Bloomington through bike riding.
What had been a stress reliever for Peroski in the past became an idea to de-stress and bring happiness once again back to Charlie Bird.
Bike riding led to more social interaction and yada, yada, yada. The feathers came back.
With Charlie happy and healthy once again, as well as a custom-made bike and a love for the road at hand, the peculiar sight of Charlie and Joe cruising around has led the two to be seen as so-called celebrities around the Bloomington community.
People call us a celebrity. I don't claim to be any kind of celebrity. He may be. He likes the status. A lot of people recognized us. I didn't realize that many people cared.
For Joe, owning Charlie has changed his life and has brought a new appreciation for the smiles and love within a community. Reporting for Hoosier News Source, I'm Jack Bassett.
What do you think about a comfort zone?
Purdue traveled to Bloomington to square off against the Hoosiers at Councilman Billingsley Aquatic Center this past weekend. The number 5 Indiana men and the number 15 Indiana women both celebrated Senior Day with huge wins over their in-state rival. Indiana gave a dominant performance, winning 23 of 32 events. Cora Dupree led the way with 3 wins on the day. The Hoosiers saw 5 swimmers post 6 NCAA B-cut times, and IU's Emily Weiss recorded 2 in the 100 and 200 breaststroke. 3 divers also posted NCAA zones qualifying scores at 1 meter. Indiana wins it 174-120 on the women's side and 179-112 on the men's side. It was a heartbreaking 76-77 loss for the IU men's basketball team on Sunday in their matchup against the Maryland Terrapins. A 6-point lead with 68 seconds wasn't enough for IU to win a game that they were actually trailing by 14 points in the second half. It was Jalen Smith who came up clutch for the Terps, finishing with a career high of 29 points. His final bucket allowed Maryland to avoid a second-half collapse. The 1-point loss stings even more, though, if you look at the Hoosiers' game stats. In one stretch spanning both halves, IU went 23 minutes without a turnover and spent most of the game shooting above 60%. Devontae Green attacked the basket, scoring 16 points, and forward Trace Jackson Davis added 13 points and 8 rebounds. Now, a victory against Maryland might have propelled IU into the top 25, but the Hoosiers will have to wait for that news as they begin their 2-game road streak, first facing off against Penn State on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. and then Ohio State on Saturday at noon. And on Sunday, the sports world was shocked by the devastating news of a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. On board were 9 passengers who lost their lives in the tragedy. Those 9 victims were John, Carrie, and Alyssa Altobelli, Sarah and Peyton Chester, Christina Mauser, Ara Zobian, and Kobe and Gianna Bryant. Tributes from around the world poured in after news of the accident spread. The 41-year-old Lakers legend left behind a legacy as an NBA champion, Olympian, and father of 4 young daughters. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims during this difficult time. And that's all for the sports. I'm Meredith Strewing. Back to you guys at the desk. Thanks, Meredith, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source.
To learn more about this week's stories, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at IUSTV News.
I'm Ella Rhodes.
And I'm Noelle Friel. From Bloomington, Indiana, we'll see you next week.